Stop scrolling. The color you're about to pick in the next 60 seconds will expose a hidden truth about your personality that even your closest friends don't know. This isn't a game. This is based on decades of psychological research, and what you're about to discover might actually shock you. Are you ready? Let's begin. Have you ever stopped to wonder why certain colors make you feel calm while others energize you? Why does walking into a blue room feel different from stepping into a red one? Why do you gravitate toward specific shades when choosing your clothes, your car, or even your phone wallpaper? Here's the truth that most people never realize. Colors aren't just visual stimuli. They're emotional frequencies. They're psychological triggers. They're windows into the deepest chambers of your mind, revealing parts of yourself that you might not even consciously recognize. Throughout human history, colors have held profound meaning. Ancient civilizations used them in rituals. Kings and queens wore specific hues to display power. Healers understood that certain shades could influence mood and health. And in modern psychology, particularly in the groundbreaking work of Carl Jung, colors became recognized as powerful symbols that connect directly to our unconscious mind. Jung discovered something revolutionary. Our psyche communicates through symbols, and colors are among the most potent symbols we encounter daily. When you feel drawn to a particular color, it's not random preference. It's your inner self speaking a language that bypasses words, logic, and conscious thought. Today, you're going to participate in an experiment, a psychological exploration that will reveal something genuine about your core nature. And here's what makes this fascinating. You don't need to think hard or analyze carefully. In fact, overthinking will only cloud the result. In front of you, imagine 4 distinct colors: purple, blue, red, yellow. Each one vibrates at its own frequency. Each carries its own psychological weight, and one of them is calling to you right now, even if you can't explain why. This is what I want you to do. Take a slow, deep breath. Let your mind settle. Don't ask yourself which color you should choose or which one makes sense. Instead, notice which color your eyes keep returning to. Which one creates a subtle pull in your chest? Which one feels like it's somehow connected to who you are at your deepest level? This choice isn't trivial. According to Jungian psychology, the unconscious mind reveals itself through exactly these kinds of spontaneous preferences. Your selection will act as a mirror, reflecting back qualities, strengths, challenges, and truths that define your inner landscape. So look at them again. Purple, blue, red, yellow. Which one resonates? Which one feels like home? Make your choice now, and let's discover what it reveals about the real you. If you found yourself irresistibly drawn to purple, you've just identified yourself as someone extraordinary. Purple has never been an ordinary color. Throughout history, it represented royalty, mysticism, and the rare few who dared to think beyond conventional boundaries. You are what psychologists call a depth seeker. While most people skim the surface of life, you dive deep. Small talk exhausts you because your mind craves substance. You want to understand the why behind everything, why people behave as they do, why society functions as it does, why you feel what you feel. This makes you naturally philosophical. You probably find yourself lost in thought more often than others realize. Your inner world is rich, complex, and endlessly fascinating to you. Silence doesn't make you uncomfortable. It energizes you. It's where your best ideas are born, where your creativity flourishes, where you connect with something larger than yourself. People notice something different about you, even if they can't articulate what it is. You carry an aura of mystery, not because you're trying to be enigmatic, but because you genuinely operate on a different wavelength. You see connections others miss. You sense energies in rooms. You pick up on unspoken tensions and hidden emotions. This intuitive ability is both gift and burden. On one hand, it makes you remarkably empathetic and insightful. People seek you out when they need genuine understanding, not just surface-level sympathy. You offer wisdom that seems beyond your years because you've spent so much time exploring the inner dimensions of human experience. But this sensitivity comes at a cost. You feel everything intensely. Joy hits you harder. Pain cuts deeper. Betrayal devastates you in ways that others might not fully comprehend. Because of this, you're selective about who you let close. Your inner circle is small, but those within it experience loyalty that's absolutely unwavering. Creativity flows through you naturally, but not in conventional ways. You might express it through art, writing, music, or design. Or you might express it through the way you problem solve, the way you reimagine possibilities, the way you envision futures that others can't yet see. Your creativity isn't about making pretty things. It's about transforming reality itself. There's a shadow side to purple, though. Sometimes you feel profoundly alone. Even surrounded by people, you can feel like you're on the outside looking in, like nobody truly understands the depth of what you experience. This sense of isolation can lead to periods of melancholy or withdrawal. But here's what you must remember. Your depth is not a flaw. The world desperately needs people like you. People who refuse to accept shallow answers, who dare to explore the mysterious, who remind the rest of us that life contains dimensions we've barely begun to understand. If you chose purple, you're not meant to fit in. You're meant to stand out, to illuminate paths that most people don't even know exist, to be the bridge between the visible and invisible worlds. If your soul responded to blue, you've revealed something beautiful about your core nature. Blue is the color of infinite skies and boundless oceans. It represents tranquility, depth, wisdom, and unwavering trust. You are, at heart, a peacemaker, not in a passive way, but in a profoundly powerful way. You understand something that escapes most people. True strength isn't found in aggression or dominance. It's found in calmness and emotional intelligence, in the ability to remain centered when everything around you is chaos. People feel safer in your presence. They might not consciously realize why, but something about your energy soothes their anxiety. You listen, truly listen, in a world where most people are just waiting for their turn to speak. You don't judge quickly. You don't react impulsively. You process, consider, and respond with thoughtfulness. This makes you an anchor for others. In turbulent times, people instinctively turn to you because they know you won't add to the storm. You'll be the calm they desperately need. Your friends probably describe you as dependable, trustworthy, or the reasonable one. And while these might sound like simple compliments, they reflect something profound about your character. Blue personalities value authenticity above almost everything else. Pretense exhausts you. You'd rather have one genuine conversation than a dozen superficial ones. You'd rather be alone than surrounded by people wearing masks. This commitment to truth, both personal and universal, guides your relationships, your decisions, and your sense of self. Your emotional intelligence runs remarkably deep. You don't just feel your own emotions. You sense the emotional currents in others. This makes you naturally skilled at mediation, counseling, and creating harmony in group settings. You can read between the lines, understand what's not being said, and gently guide people toward resolution. However, your love of peace can become a trap. Because you value harmony so much, you might sometimes suppress your own needs to avoid conflict. You might stay quiet when you should speak up, or accommodate others beyond what's healthy for you. Learning to honor your own voice, even when it creates temporary discomfort, is one of your essential growth edges. Beneath your calm surface lies an ocean of feeling. Just because you don't express emotions dramatically doesn't mean you don't feel them deeply. You do. You experience profound love, intense passion, and deep hurt. You simply process these feelings internally before expressing them externally. In relationships, you're loyal to your core. When you commit, whether to a friendship, a partnership, or a cause, you commit fully. You're not interested in casual connections. You want depth, meaning, and mutual respect. And when you find those things, you nurture them with steady, consistent care. If you chose blue, you embody something the world desperately needs: the power of presence, the strength of gentleness, the wisdom of patience. You remind us that we don't always need to fight or force. Sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is simply be calm, authentic, and true. If red ignited something inside you, you've just confirmed what you probably already suspected. You are fire incarnate. Red is primal. It's the color of blood pumping through your veins, of flames that consume and transform, of raw life force that refuses to be contained. You don't do anything halfway. That's not how you're built. When you love with frightening intensity. When you pursue a goal, you pursue it with relentless determination. When you commit to something, you go all in. Lukewarm doesn't exist in your vocabulary. This intensity makes you magnetic. People are drawn to your energy like moths to flame. There's something thrilling about being near you. A sense that anything could happen, that life around you is more vivid, more real, more alive. You don't just enter rooms, you transform them. You're a natural-born leader, not because you seek power, but because you take action when others hesitate. You see what needs to happen and you make it happen. Fear doesn't stop you the way it stops others. Risk doesn't paralyze you. It energizes you. This courage is one of your greatest assets. But let's be honest, your fire burns hot and that comes with consequences. You're impatient. Waiting feels like torture. You want results now, progress now, change now. This urgency drives you forward but can also lead to impulsive decisions. You sometimes leap before looking, act before planning, and deal with the consequences later. Your emotional life matches your intensity. You feel anger fiercely. You experience joy explosively. You love with a passion that can overwhelm people who aren't prepared for it. This emotional volatility means you live on a roller coaster. Exhilarating highs and devastating lows, often in the same day. Here's what most people don't realize about you. Beneath that bold exterior, you're vulnerable. You hide it well, but you feel rejection acutely. Failure stings you more than you let on. Criticism can wound you deeply, even though you'd never admit it. Your armor of confidence protects a heart that's surprisingly tender. Red personalities are warriors, but not just in battle. You fight for what you believe in. You stand up for people who can't stand up for themselves. You refuse to accept injustice quietly. This makes you a force for change, someone who actually makes things happen instead of just talking about them. Your passion extends to every area of life. You don't want comfortable. You want extraordinary. You don't want safe. You want meaningful. You'd rather fail spectacularly while attempting something great than succeed at something mediocre. The challenge for red personalities is learning to channel fire without burning everything down. Your intensity needs direction, focus, purpose. When you harness your energy toward clear goals, you become unstoppable. When it's scattered or misdirected, it can become destructive. If you chose red, you are alive in the fullest sense of that word. You remind the rest of us that life is meant to be felt, experienced, and lived at full volume. You don't wait for permission to exist boldly. You simply do it. If yellow captured your attention, you've identified yourself as someone genuinely special. Yellow is sunlight condensed into color. It's warmth, energy, hope, and the promise that tomorrow will be better than today. You are fundamentally an optimist, but not a naive one. Your positivity isn't about ignoring darkness. It's about choosing light despite the darkness. This choice requires enormous strength, though most people don't recognize it as such. You've seen life's harsh realities, experienced disappointment and pain, yet you still wake up believing in possibilities. This optimism makes you incredibly attractive to others. Your energy is contagious. When you enter a space, the atmosphere shifts. People suddenly feel lighter, more hopeful, more capable. You remind them that joy is possible, that problems can be solved, that life holds beautiful surprises. But there's much more to you than cheerfulness. You're intellectually curious in ways that never stop. Your mind constantly asks questions. Why? How? What if? You're fascinated by learning, growing, discovering new ideas, exploring unfamiliar territories. Stagnation is your enemy. You need movement, progress, evolution. This curiosity makes you incredibly adaptable. You thrive in new environments. You embrace change where others resist it. You see adventures where others see threats. This flexibility is a massive advantage in our rapidly changing world. Yellow personalities are natural innovators. You see possibilities that others miss. You imagine solutions that haven't been tried. You connect ideas from different domains in creative ways. Your mind works like a kaleidoscope, constantly creating new patterns, new perspectives, new approaches. Your relationships reflect your energetic nature. You bring laughter, spontaneity, and excitement to your connections. You're the friend who suggests random adventures, who makes ordinary moments memorable, who can find fun in almost any situation. People treasure you for the light you bring into their lives. However, beneath this bright exterior, you carry a hidden fear. The fear of failure, of dimming, of disappointing others or yourself. Because you associate so strongly with light and positivity, you sometimes feel pressure to maintain that energy even when you're struggling. You might hide your doubts, suppress your sadness, or push through exhaustion because you don't want to let anyone down. Here's what you need to hear. You're allowed to have dark days. You're allowed to rest. You're allowed to not be on all the time. Your worth isn't measured by how much light you provide others. Sometimes the sun needs to set so it can rise again even brighter. Yellow personalities also struggle with focus. Because everything interests you, you might start many projects without finishing them. Your mind jumps from idea to idea, opportunity to opportunity. Learning to channel your abundant energy into sustained effort will multiply your already impressive capabilities. In your heart, you believe in human potential, yours and everyone else's. You genuinely think people can change, grow, and become better. This belief drives you to encourage others, to see their strengths when they can't, to remind them of their value. If you chose yellow, you are hope personified. In a world that often feels heavy and dark, you are the reminder that light exists, not because everything is perfect, but because we can choose to create brightness even in difficult times. Your presence is a gift, your optimism is courage, and your joy is revolutionary. And there you have it. 4 colors, 4 distinct psychological profiles, 4 different ways of experiencing and engaging with life. But here's the deeper truth. This isn't just about colors. This exploration connects to something fundamental about human psychology. Carl Jung spent his life studying the symbols and archetypes that shape our psyche. He understood that our unconscious mind communicates through imagery, through symbols, through preferences that feel instinctive rather than rational. When you feel drawn to a color, you're not just responding to wavelengths of light. You're responding to psychological associations built over thousands of years of human experience. You're tapping into archetypal patterns that exist deep in the collective unconscious. Purple connects to the archetype of the mystic, the sage, the seeker of hidden wisdom. Blue embodies the caregiver, the peacemaker, the wise elder. Red channels the warrior, the lover, the revolutionary. Yellow expresses the innocent, the explorer, the eternal optimist. Understanding which archetype resonates with you provides valuable self-knowledge. It helps you recognize your natural strengths, anticipate your challenges, and understand why you navigate life the way you do. But here's what's even more interesting. Your color preference might shift over time. As you grow, evolve, and move through different life stages, you might find yourself drawn to different hues. A person might be deeply purple in their 20s as they explore life's mysteries, shift to blue in their 30s as they build stable foundations, touch red during periods of major change, and embrace yellow in times of renewal. Pay attention to these shifts. They're telling you something about your psychological journey, about what you need in this particular chapter of your life. Beyond self-understanding, color psychology has practical applications. The colors you surround yourself with, in your home, your wardrobe, your workspace, actually influence your mood, energy, and behavior. If you're a blue personality craving more peace, surrounding yourself with blue tones can reinforce that calm. If you're a yellow personality needing to channel your energy, incorporating structured elements alongside your bright spaces can help. This knowledge empowers you to design your environment intentionally, to support your psychological needs rather than working against them. So now I want to hear from you. Which color did you choose? Purple? Blue? Red? Yellow? More importantly, did the description resonate? Did it reveal something about yourself that you recognized as true? Or did it surprise you by exposing qualities you hadn't fully acknowledged? Drop your color in the comments right now. Write purple, blue, red, or yellow, and then share one sentence about whether the personality description matched your self-perception. This isn't just curiosity on my part. The comments section becomes a fascinating psychological study. You'll see patterns emerge. You'll connect with others who share your color. You'll recognize yourself in their experiences. This community we're building is about genuine self-discovery and mutual understanding. And if this exploration resonated with you, here's how you can support this channel. Hit that like button right now. Seriously, pause and click it. That simple action tells YouTube to show this video to more people who are searching for deeper self-understanding. Then subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. We dive deep into psychology, personality, human behavior, and the wisdom traditions that help us understand ourselves better. Every video is designed to offer genuine insights, not surface-level content. Finally, share this video with someone who would benefit from this exploration. Maybe a friend who's been trying to understand themselves better. Maybe a family member going through a transition. Maybe a partner you want to understand more deeply. Psychology is most powerful when it's shared, discussed, and explored together. Before we end, I want to leave you with this thought. You are not random. The way you think, feel, and experience life follows patterns. Patterns that can be understood, honored, and worked with intentionally. These patterns aren't limitations. They're the unique fingerprint of your consciousness. Colors are just one window into this deeper understanding, but they're a powerful window because they bypass our rational defenses and connect directly to something more primal, more honest, more real. The fact that you watched this entire video tells me something about you. You're genuinely interested in self-knowledge. You're not content to just drift through life. You want to understand yourself at deeper levels. You're committed to growth, awareness, and living more authentically. That commitment is what separates those who truly evolve from those who simply age. So keep exploring, keep questioning, keep looking for the truth beneath the surface. Use tools like this color psychology exploration, but also dive into other frameworks, personality typologies, archetypes, attachment theory, values clarification. Each lens reveals something new about the magnificent complexity of who you are. And remember, self-knowledge isn't about labeling yourself and stopping there. It's about understanding your patterns so you can work with them, transcend them when necessary, and express your truest self more fully. You chose a color today. That color revealed something true. Now take that truth and live it more consciously, more intentionally, more boldly. Thank you for being here. Thank you for engaging with this material seriously. Thank you for being part of a community that values depth over superficiality. Until the next video, stay curious, stay authentic, and keep discovering the extraordinary person you're becoming. Now go make your choice known in the comments. I'll be reading every single one.